Hello, my name is Darren John Giles. I'm the leader of Kingdom Life Movement, and I'm an apostle by call. I'm coming on here to share with you three prophetic words that the Lord gave to me for the UK. This happened on the 14th of April, while I was part of the ministry team for a worship event that I was at. The Lord took me into a vision, and out of this vision and this encounter, these three prophetic words came. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break this up into three parts. I'm going to give the first word today. I'm going to give a bit of an explanation of how I believe we can apply this word and what the Lord is saying. And as always, please, it is your job to weigh, to test, to take these words to the Lord, to see whether the Spirit of God confirms to you that these are true words, and then how you can partner with them. And if indeed you do believe that these are true words, then I would invite you right now to like and to share, most importantly, this word with others who can be equipped and mobilized with these words. So the first word that the Lord gave me, so in this worship event that I was at, I was taking into a vision, and I saw a vision of a heavenly scene and like a throne room scene, and Jesus on the throne and people around him worshiping. And then as they were doing so, it moved from Jesus, the man being on the throne, he turned into a lion and he was pacing up and down, still in this same scene. But then he turned almost towards me with a scepter outstretched, and said, "It's time for the Lion of Judah to roar over this nation again." The Lord said that there's an unction. So there is a sovereign move of God where he is putting a particular grace upon the evangelist right now to go. There is an extraordinary grace. If you are an evangelist, or even if you have a heart for evangelism, there is an extraordinary grace that the Lord is pouring out on this time upon the evangelists of the UK to go. And I particularly saw with this that God raising up, what he was highlighting to me is very, very bold type of evangelism as well. There's definitely a specific unctioning for that. The kind of evangelist and evangelism where it's very bold, it's very out there, it's very visible, it's very seen. It's, as much as it is evangelism, there's also something about taking a stand and showing that Christ is here, he is risen, he is alive in this nation. So there is a real grace for that very visible type of for lack of a better term, I don't want to say in your face evangelism, but very visible type of evangelism, because there is something about a time of making a stand in this kingdom. So if that is you, and that is part of how God's wired you up, then grab hold of this at this time and go, because as you do, you're going to meet an extraordinary wind of God that is gonna you're going to be able to partner with, that is really going to push you on, and I believe advance the cause of evangelism in this nation. And as I say, there is something about the evangelists also playing a key part in sounding out that God is here, God is alive in this nation. So even that bold declaration of Christ, and that very visible mobilizing and moving of the evangelist is even going to be a sign to people in this nation, and that's going to be something that God is going to use to cause people to wonder and to cause them to wake up. So God is going to be using these bold evangelists even as a sign at this time as they go. The encounter that I had continued, but actually before I go there, what I would say is this. So even if you don't see yourself as that type of evangelist, if you just even have a heart for people, as we all should, what is it that God's put in your hand? Maybe your way of bringing people together is you bring people together over meals. Maybe that's where people feel comfortable with you. Don't be afraid to do that if that's what God's putting on your heart. I've known of people who that's their thing. It's hospitality, and so they host meals. They invite their non-believing friends who may be curious about faith. They invite a couple of their friends who are Christians, who they know are able to mingle with people well and speak about faith, and they just open up a space for these things to happen. They just open up a space and open up their home, a comfortable place where people can feel relaxed and talk and let the gospel be spreading those atmospheres. That might be you. That might be what you do. You might be the kind of person that's great at having one-to-one conversations with people over a cup of coffee. Take the opportunity, because I believe that you too are going to meet a wind of God at this time, as God is really empowering sovereignly an unction upon that evangelistic work. So this is not just for the evangelists. So as I looked again, I saw a young boy of about 14 years old, and he was dressed in armor. He wasn't fully dressed, but he was partly dressed in armor. And I heard the Lord say that it's time to go with whatever preparedness you have and get the rest as you go, for it is time. He said, the great battle for our time has now begun. This is the clash of the kingdoms. Whatever you find to do, do it with all your might. Now, what does that mean? Well, let me make it clear what I'm not saying. I'm not saying that we are right at the end of the end of the end of days and Jesus is about to return and it's the end of all things. I'm not saying that at all. That's not what the Lord was saying to me. And I wouldn't be so foolish to think that that's what the Lord was saying to me. I'm well aware of what the scriptures say about those kind of things. However, the Lord was saying to me effectively that in every generation, wherever we are in time, whether we are right at the end or whether we are not, in every generation, there are pivot points. There are crucial times where what happens defines your generation. It defines your age. We are now in that point. So when the Lord is saying that the great battle of our time has begun, what he's saying is that for you who are here, who are alive, who are of age, the great battle of your time for you has come. The Bible tells us in the book of Acts, chapter 13, verse 36, for David, after he had served his own generation by the will of God, fell asleep. And I believe what the Lord is saying to us is it is now our time to serve our generation. The thing that we were born for, the thing that we have been wired up for, the thing that God has put in us, knowing the time that we will be born in, knowing the age that we will be born in, it's time for that thing to come to fruition. It's time for everybody to pick up arms and be about the things that God has called us to do, because we are now in the time of the great battle of our generation. This is the clash of the kingdoms. And so many of you will have already felt that in the spirit, whatever language you've put on it. You may be aware of specificity even about the times that we are in. You may have felt it already. You may have heard the Lord say things to you, but it is upon us, and it is upon us now. So it is time, if you're a believer, and I'm speaking particularly for people in the UK, it is time now not to just be a Christian. That is no longer good enough. It is time to serve your generation. And I was reminded of a word that I given 2023 going into 2024. I think it was that New Year's Eve, and it's still on. I believe that it's still on the YouTube channel. It's still on the Kingdom Life Movement YouTube channel. Go to YouTube, try typing at We Are KLM UK. You'll find it there. It was the New Year's Eve word that I gave, and I remember saying, the Lord said to me that he is calling for a draft. Like an army, the Lord is drafting soldiers, and he's looking for people who will be part of this army, because he is going out and he's calling those of us who've had words for years, those of us who know what God has called us to do, and we've been delaying, we've not been moving, and we've been half asleep. God is drafting and saying, who will fight, who will stand now, because war is upon us. And so he gave that in the end of 2023 going into 2024, and now in 2025 we are here. And so it is time for us to pick up what it is that the Lord has called us to do. It is time for us to be fully engaged in the spiritual battle for the souls of men, whatever part that he has called you to play, whatever that is. Does that mean that everybody is going to be an evangelist traveling across nations or preaching across nations? Absolutely no. But where you are, yeah, doing the thing that God's called you to do. Sometimes we always make it like this great thing where you have to travel across countries. No, 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 no. What is your part in the great battle of this time? Your part could be in your office. Your part could be in your workplace, in places where people aren't going to go into churches, and maybe they aren't going to encounter many Christian people. Your part could be to be that light into darkness and to find those who God is trying to snatch out of darkness into light. You could be that point to share the gospel. So your part in this great battle might be to really start to see your workplace as a mission field and start to pray and start to be intentional about engaging and not switching off from the war because you're at work, but being open and listening for those opportunities to share the gospel. Your place could be in your coffee morning, in your school. Your place could be at the school gates. You could be the person speaking to other parents about Christ and about the opportunities there. Next thing you know, you've got a local coffee group where people are coming together and they want to hear you talk about Christ. Whatever it may be, it could be in your family, and you know that you need to reach your family, but you've been delaying. The great battle of our time is upon us. Delay no longer. Go with what God has given you, what God has put into your spirit. It's time to run. It's time to run. And as part of that, I believe every church needs to become an equipping place. Now, where we are equipping the body of Christ for the work of ministry. We can't be simply pacifying the body of Christ because we haven't got time. We are literally training people as they're on the move now. Every church has to become an equipping place. We have to be able to arm the saints, and it needs to be a quick work. And that doesn't just mean that I need to do everything in my ministry or you need to do everything in your ministry. It means we're going to need to come together and learn to work together, different churches working together, your strength and my strengths together, so that we can get this work done quickly. We can't do this on our own. This is bigger than your ministry and it's bigger than my ministry. We're going to have to come together as the body of Christ because we need to be able to equip the body of Christ and equip them quickly. This isn't time to be worrying about, oh, but if so-and-so comes in and we join church, is that church down the road is strong in prophecy and we're not? What if people leave from our church and go there? There's only actually one church anyway, so they're not leaving from anywhere. If you are concerned about trying to keep your members, you are not running a church, you're running a prison camp with a Sunday service. These are God's people. We actually shouldn't care. Our heart should be that God's people are where they need to be equipped. And so we need to come together as churches, draw our strengths together, pull our strengths together, and become a place where God's people can be equipped, armed, and sent out, because the great battle of our time is upon us. And the Lord said to me, whatever it is you find to do, do it with all of your might. And so that's the last word that I would leave for you in this first part. Whatever it is that you know God has put on your heart to do, do it now and do it with all of your might. Because the UK, we are in a moment of time. Who knows how long it will last, but there is something that God is doing, and we need to partner with Him to see this nation turn. We are at a pivot point, and God is looking to use you and me.